Welcome to Vijetha Study Circle. Today in this video we are going to discuss about India and Japan relationship. Very recently the 2+2 ministerial meeting was held between India and Japan. In this context we are going to discuss about what was this 2+2 ministerial meeting all about, what it means, and in which way India and Japan had the relationship in the past, and what are the other ways around the India and Japan are trying to nurture its relationship further. So let's quickly get started. Why it is in news? Recently, the India and Japan hold the 2+2 ministerial meeting in Tokyo to enhance security and defense cooperation. And this 2+2 ministerial meeting, which was held in the Tokyo, was one of the important in the current affairs point of view, because the India and Japan had the good relations since past, and especially in the security and defense cooperation we have very good relations with the Japan. So what is actually this 2+2 dialogue means? The 2+2 ministerial is the highest level institutional mechanism between the two countries, and it is a format of dialogue where the defense and foreign ministries or secretariats meet with their counterparts from another country. So it is all about the meeting between the defense and foreign ministers or the secretariats. And India has this type of 2+2 meetings not only with the Japan and with the other countries around. Those are the USA, Australia and Japan. These were the other countries where we have this 2+2 type of meetings. What are the key highlights of this meeting? Whatever the meeting held in the Tokyo, basically the India and Japan had discussed on the enhanced defense cooperation. In the enhanced defense cooperation, both countries are examining all the options necessary, especially for the national defense program, including the counter-strike capabilities, and it will increase their defense budget substantially to strengthen their capabilities. As there is a need to tackle increased security threats, mostly from the neighborhood country of China, the India and Japan are trying to enhance the defense cooperation between the two nations. This is one of the key highlights of the meeting. Along with this, the enhancing maritime cooperation is another one important key highlight of this meeting. There were extensive discussion on ways to enhance this maritime cooperation, including maritime domain awareness that includes the India's inclusive vision of security and growth for all in the region. This is famously referred as SAGAR. SAGAR is nothing but security and growth for all in the region. So not only in the sense of the defense, even in the maritime cooperation also, the India and Japan are trying its best to build its relationship. Along with that, in the global cooperation, both countries acknowledge that the global cooperation is required more than ever to address the security challenges. Further, here is the consensus on both the sides that a strong India and Japan relation is very important for free, open and rule-based, inclusive Indo-Pacific based upon sovereignty and territorial integrity of nations. To develop this Indo-Pacific relations, this is very important to have a key role in this globalization scenario. The India and Japan must develop this partnership. So this is also one of the key highlight of the meeting. Further, in which way the India had the relationship with the Japan. If we see the defense exercises, since long the India and Japan had the defense forces bilateral exercises, And these bilateral exercises were in the form of Navy exercises, in the form of Air Force, and in the form of Army. In many of the question papers, you will frequently see the questions, what was the bilateral exercises between India and Japan in the naval context? It was the GIMEX. GIMEX was the bilateral exercise between India and Japan in the naval way. And Shinyu Maitri was the exercise in the form of Air Force, and Dharma Guardian was in the form of Army. And along with that, not only the bilateral exercises, India and Japan had even the multilateral exercise. In the context of multilateral exercise, the Milan was the multilateral exercise which was held for the first time between India and Japan. And along with that, the reciprocal provision of supply and service agreement was held between the India and Japan in the March 2022. And these two were the milestone in the progress of the defense cooperation between India and Japan. And along with this bilateral and multilateral exercises, both the countries also participated in the Malabar exercise of naval exercise, which was held between the USA, Australia, Japan and India. This Malabar exercise was also very famous, which was held among the USA, Australia and India, Japan. So in this way, India and Japan had the defense exercises. In the competitive exam point of view, we should remember what was the bilateral exercises and what were the multilateral exercises the India and Japan had in the defense exercises. And along with this, there were some of the multilateral groupings. Both the India and Japan are members of the Quad group, and these two were members of G20 and along with the G4. India and Japan were members of Quad group, the G20 and the G4. And along with that, they are also members countries of International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. So in this way, the India and Japan are having the groupings, and these all are the part of the multilateral groupings in the World Forum. And if we consider the healthcare relations between these two nations, just like the India's Ayushman Bharat program, where we have the target of promoting the health of all the people. In the context of right to health, we are developing the Ayushman Bharat. And in this way, Ayushman Bharat and the Japan Ahvin program, both sides had been consulting with each other to identify projects to build the narrative of Ahvin and Ayushman Bharat programs. So just like the Ayushman Bharat program of India, there was a Ahvin program of the Japan, and both the countries are helping each other to promote the healthcare to their citizens. And along with the defense, maritime and healthcare, there were other investment cooperation between these two nations. It's like India has been the largest recipient of Japanese official development assistance program. The official development assistance program, it was one of the loan assistance program, and the Delhi Metro was one of the most successful example of the Japanese cooperation through the utilization of this official development assistance program. And along with that, the India's Western Dedicated Freight Corridor project is also funded by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. In this way, we are getting the benefit from the Japan investments. Along with that, the Japan and India had committed to build a high-speed railway in India. And India and Japan, the nuclear deals of 2016 also helped to promote nearly the 6 nuclear reactors in the southern part of the country, so that our nuclear energy capacity can be increased by the end of 2032 by 10 folds. So in this map, we have presented this investment importance of Japan to India. So especially the Delhi Metro and Western Dedicated Freight Corridor, and along with that high speed railways and the nuclear reactor programs with the nuclear deal of 2016. These were some of the helps we gained from the Japan ODA program and other the investment programs around. So in this way, the India and Japan had good relations even in the investment criteria. In the economic relations, Japan has very good bilateral trade with India, and if we see the last financial year, the India and Japan had the trade nearly 20.57 billion US dollars. All the time the India and Japan had the good trade, and last financial year also we had witnessed the good trade between these two nations. Nearly it is 20.57 billion dollars. And if we see the Japan exports to India, that means out of the total India's total imports, nearly 2.35% of India's imports were from Japan. And if we see the India's exports to Japan were 1.46%. That means it underlines that the Japan always have a big potential with the India in the trading sector. So it is very important. Our exports weightage towards the Japan was 1.46% and our imports from Japan are nearly 2.35% in the last financial year. Along with that, India was the 18th largest trading partner for the Japan, and Japan was the 12th largest trading partner for India in the year of 2020. So we have very good economical relations with the Japan, and every time we have very good relations both in the export and in the import point of view with the Japan. And what are the other development we have seen during the 14th Indo-Japan Annual Summit, which was held in 2022? Not only in the form of defense cooperation, maritime cooperation, the investments and the economical cooperation, we have even the sustainable development initiatives for the northeastern regions of India from the Japan. It has been launched with an eye on India's infrastructure development in the northeast and includes both ongoing projects and the possible future cooperation in the connectivity sector, in the healthcare and the renewable energy, and as well as initiative for strengthening the bamboo value chain. Because the northeast region, the Indian government is focusing more because of the heavy sensibility towards the geographical barriers and even the largest living of tribal population. The northeast region need the more investments to develop the infrastructure in that region in the sustainable development point of view. Japan is one of the nation which is helping the India to promote this infrastructure in the northeastern region. In the recent meeting which was held on the India and Japan Annual Summit, the 14th India-Japan Annual Summit, the Japan has promised to India to develop the infrastructure in the northeastern region. And along with this, the India and Japan is having the digital partnership. In the digital platform, especially on the cyber security, the India and Japan digital partnership has targeted to enhance the digital economy by promoting the joint projects in the areas of Internet of Things and artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. So Japan is looking forward to attracting more highly skilled Indian IT professionals to contribute to the Japanese ICT sector. We all having the awareness that India is having a strong sense in the exporting of the service sector. So the Japan is also hoping that the India will export the service sector and the IT professionals who are skilled enough to the Japan, so that Japanese people also and the Japan country also develop its information technology sector. So in this sense, even in the digital partnership also, the India and Japan is having the good relations, and they are going to forward this one in the coming years. And In relation to the Clean Energy Partnership, if we see, it was launched a cooperation in areas of electrical vehicles to promote the clean energy and to avoid the air pollution. So the India and Japan is trying to develop the electric vehicles, the storage systems including the batteries, and electric vehicle charging infrastructure, and development of solar energy, hydrogen and ammonia. That means India and Japan both are trying to have the clean energy partnership between the nations. The objective of promoting this clean energy partnership is to encourage the manufacturing in India and the creation of trustworthy supply chains in these areas, as well as having the further collaboration in the research and development way. In this way, the India and Japan is planning to bind its relationship both in the economical point of view and even in the sustainable development point of view. So in this way, India and Japan had the relations in the past and they are planning to continue that relationship further. So this is all about the India and Japan relations. We hope you all had enjoyed the video, and we have given the information regarding the India and the Japan relations and what was the 2+2 ministerial meetings.